Hey everybody, how you doing today? It is a beautiful fall morning, and I'm not talking fall because of spiced lattes and pumpkin this and that. It's because it's cool. I can wear long sleeves and long pants. I don't get poison ivy as much, and it is time to start building the shed that I talked about before. Now, if you remember before, that floor that I talked about and moved over into this area was from a old playhouse that I had built for my oldest daughter. And that thing's like 20 years old, but it's still in great shape. So I was just going to turn that into a shed. Well, then, of course, the rule of thumb is as big as you need, well, build it twice as big. So I'm building it twice as big. So I'm starting a new section of flooring here. And the next step to do, I've got it all framed out. I'll explain a little bit of why I framed it this way. You can see I've got an 8x8 frame, and then there are two treated 2x4 rails going down. That's exactly where the tractor tires would hit. I intend to put implements in here and store them, the lawnmower over the winter, the plow over the summer. I want to be able to take the front loader off in here, so the tractor needs to be able to drive up in here. So I've got 3/4 inch treated plywood as a floor, but underneath I've got extra supports right where the front tires would go in, so it should hold it just fine. So anyway, that's all built, 8x8, ready to go. And next thing I need to do is lag it to the other floor to make a full 8x16 floor. Okay, so now that all of this is pretty much one now, the framing anyway, I'm going to put a couple of screws, temporary screws, right in line with these joists. Just drive them in a little bit. And these are for when the floor is down, I want to use a chalk line and stretch it out so I know exactly where those joists are so I can drive screws all the way along. So next thing to do is put the floors down. Okay, so there it is. Step one, floor. Step two is going to be framing the walls. That's the fun part. I really like framing. It'll really look like a shed after I get done framing it. So, catch you next time. Do some framing. All right, day two of the shed build. Next step is to build the framing for the walls. So we cut a bunch of 2x4 studs to 90 inches. The reason we did that is you're going to have an 1.5 inch thick plate at the bottom of the wall. You're going to have an 1.5 inch plate at the top of the wall, and then an additional top plate. So that's a total of 4.5 inches. Then we want an 1.5 inch overhang for the siding that goes on the side of the shed. So that's a total of 6 inches that need to be cut off of each one of these 8 foot 2x4s. So we cut 6 inches off each one of those. They're 90 inch studs. Start building these walls, prefab them, laying on the floor, and then lift them up and nail them in place. I'm going to set this to time lapse. If you want a tutorial on how to build a shed, I would suggest looking at iCreatables. It's a YouTube channel. They have, I got a lot of tips from it on how to do this beforehand. That's where I learned how to do it. So instead of me going through step by step, we're just going to speed things up. We're going to do a time lapse and get these walls built. Well, good morning everyone. It is day 3 of the shed build, and as you can see, we have 3 walls done yesterday, framed in. That's why I love framing. It's so cool. It really starts to come together. This morning I'm going to be working on doing the door frame, and it's supposed to be a 6-foot wide door. The opening is going to be 6 foot wide as a finished opening, so you have to calculate for king stud around the door, the trim stud, all the other framing and the plates, and make sure it's high enough so that you can get in and out. And I need it to be 6 feet wide so I can get stuff in and out with the tractor. So there's a lot of calculating and figuring on this to do, which I won't do on camera. And then yeah, frame out the doorway. One thing I wanted to mention here is if you have to work remotely and you have a tractor, an ATV or something like that, one of these cargo carriers for luggage and stuff, they hook onto the back of your trailer hitch for your truck or your car. They're really convenient for carrying tools around on the back of a tractor or an ATV or something like that. So just an idea. But anyway, I'm going to start selecting material for this doorway and start putting it together. Okay, I've got the doorway pretty well laid out. What I've got here, try and explain a little bit before I nail it together here. This is the bottom plate. It's only 8.5 inches. So this is inset for the trim stud. This is the king stud. Trim stud comes up and goes underneath the header. So this goes alongside the header. Header gets nailed to it, and then the trim stud goes next to that. Anyway, so this is all laid out and everything, ready to be nailed together. I want to talk a little bit about what I'm using here. So I have a DeWalt battery powered 135 psi air compressor, which is handier than a pocket on a shirt, as Mike Morgan would say. Anyway, it's fantastic. It works great. It works with a framing nailer just fine. Obviously, did this whole thing with it. It does cycle quite a bit. I think you get maybe 6 shots out of it before it has to pump back up, but I don't even wait for it to pump back up. I set it to full pressure and just nail away. So anyway, and then of course the DeWalt framing nailer. So anyway, I like them. So if you're looking for a review on that, this is pretty much an entire review build, because I'm going to be using it for everything. So anyway, I'm going to get to putting this together. All right, well, interesting day. So I'm going to put these last top plates on, but let me tell you, the lumber shortage is going to happen again. Prices will probably go up if T111 has anything to do with it. It was very difficult to find the siding for this. I went out and shot 3 different Home Depot stores and finally found 12 sheets to be able to put the siding on this. Should have bought it a while ago. I don't know, maybe it wasn't available at all. Actually, I shot 4 different places, 3 different Home Depots and another lumber shop here. Anyway, I'm going to get these plates put on, and that's going to be it for today. But I have the siding, and tomorrow we're going to put the siding on it, and it's really going to start looking like a shed. See you then. All right, day 4 of building this shed, and I made a mistake, so I got to correct that mistake. And for me, it's a $20 mistake. And here's what happened: when you're measuring these out, all these studs, you want them to be 16 inches on center. Well, I started from this end here and I measured over, and each one of these marks up here, you can see I put a mark at 16, 32, 48, and I put the stud next to that. So what does that mean? That means that the 4-foot sheet is going to end up just short of this side. It's going to end up on this side for every seam. So all I'm going to do to fix that is I'm going to put a double stud in here. Like I say, it was only 20 bucks for an extra 6 studs, and that'll fix the problem, because it'll make it stronger too, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's going to make it stronger. So anyway, we're going to put those studs in, and then we're going to start putting some walls up.
At least you got it.
I'm on the wrong side of it, but I got it.
Well, that's okay. You can tip it up against there. Won't hurt a thing. I'm going to bring a nail gun back.
Okay.
Just in case you might need it.
I think I might. See that? Blew my hand off.
Yeah, I got you.
Up on the screws. Still on there. Right there. Okay, well, I'd say that's enough for today. We got 3 solid walls on this shed. And tomorrow, we're gonna put another wall on the front of the shed. There's not much. It's really just about a 6-inch, 8-inch piece of trim that goes around the outside. But we're gonna do that tomorrow because I'm done. So see you then. Well, good morning again. It is shed build day 5, and I gotta admit, lifting all those sheets yesterday and putting them on has got me tired. I am not my full self today, so we're probably just gonna get the front of this on. I don't know, do a little bit of thinking, a little bit of planning, and today's section should probably be pretty short. So anyway, I'm gonna get to work and see what we get done. Well, I told you today was going to be quick. Yeah, we got the front on. That's good enough. We sorted through a bunch of material too, a bunch of old material, trying to find pieces for the trusses and find pieces for the peaks. And we got into all that stuff. This is all recycled wood from a playhouse I built for my oldest daughter that we're using to kind of fill in the gaps. Anyway, get back at it tomorrow. Okay, so day 6. Yes, day 6 of shed build, and today cutting out rafters and building trusses. So the key to this is making everything as equal and as the same as possible. So you guys want to know technical specs. I'm doing a 1 in 6. For every 1 foot up, it's 6 feet this way. So it's a rather gradual slope, but I am going to have a almost 6 foot overhang off of the one side. So I want that to reach as far as possible and be as high as possible so I can store stuff under there and work under there. Anyway, so I got to get to work. I got to do a lot of figuring, a lot of marking, and a lot of cutting. So this is kind of like an assembly line thing. Just going to speed things up and let you see the process. So now that I've got all of my boards cut to length with the correct angles on it, the next important step is to create this. This will hold all of the trusses and all the pieces, the rafters together in the right angle so that all of the trusses end up exactly the same. Okay, and there you have one finished truss ready to be installed. Well, there it is. 2 hours of work to make one truss. But one truss means that I made templates. And I made templates so that the next 12 are going to go way easier. Well, that's it for today. Starting to really shape up though. It's going to look nice once there's a roof on it. And this is a special feature, not just a shed, but it's going to have an overhang. So this will all be enclosed, but open so I can put tools in here like implements and the log splitter and whatnot, keep it out of the weather. Anyway, it's really starting to look like a shed. Gonna have a roof before we know it. So see what I get done tomorrow. Catch you then. Okay, welcome to day 7 of the shed build. This is probably going to have to be in multiple parts. This video is going to be forever long. Anyway, by the way, some people might be wondering why I own a Kubota, but I'm wearing a John Deere hat. Well, I bought a $16,000 Kubota and they didn't give me a hat. I looked at a John Deere tractor and they gave me a free hat. So I'm wearing a free hat. Anyway, so today is all about making those trusses some more. Now that I have the template made and I have everything laid out the way I need it to, I just mass produce all the pieces. I've got to make all the pieces that hold them together and get them all cut just right. So boom, let's start the production line.